Hello, hey, Brendan here from WP Speedfix. In this video, I want to talk about a robots.txt file that we use for WooCommerce sites to speed them up, reduce the load on the site, and improve SEO. So you're probably familiar if you're watching this video. The robots.txt file is a file that all websites should have, and let me just show you ours. WPSpeedfix.com, robots.txt. So it should be robots.txt for every site. And basically this tells crawlers like Google what they can crawl on the site, how they can crawl the site. If they're blocked, basically deny them access to certain things. Not all crawlers will honor the robots.txt file, so keep that in mind, but big search engines do, big tools do. Basically it should be honored, so it's best practice for crawlers to honor it. We have a problem with WooCommerce sites. They have a lot of URLs, they have a lot of query strings, they have a lot of dynamic things going on that often, depending on how a theme is built or a site is built, can cause a lot of load on the site and can actually knock it over. So by using exclusions or disallows in the robots file, we can actually improve performance, stop that happening, stop Google crawling things that shouldn't be, also block SEO tools that are aggressively crawling the site. So we have this example file, and this is kind of our base example. So if you go to just wpspeedfix.com/WooCommerce-robots.txt, you can copy and paste this and use it yourself. There are some comments here that explains what each section is, and we will update this over time. So it might look a bit different to this video if you're watching this in the future. But let me talk you through what these lines mean. So we actually built this recently for a WooCommerce site that was having some load issues. And figured that we should make this a template and make it available. So let's talk about it. So we've added a crawl delay here. So because crawlers can be quite aggressive, they can load multiple URLs per second. So we commonly see aggressive SEO crawlers loading 3 to 5 URLs per second. So that's mimicking 5 users on the site per second, which is quite a lot. And if it's a small site, if you're on a small hosting plan, that can overload the hosting quite quickly. So we've added a crawl delay here. So crawl delay 5 means that the crawler can only crawl the website every 5 seconds. So instead of multiple times per second, that's one crawl every 5 seconds. So that's quite reasonable. A lot of hosting companies do this by default. They'll have crawl delay 5 or 10 just to slow down crawlers and reduce load on the site. Keep in mind that there is a scenario where this may have an impact on SEO if you have a bigger site. If you've got thousands of URLs, this is going to slow down crawling. So there may not be, crawl delay 5 might be too high. So there might not be enough time to crawl the site in a reasonable amount of time, a reasonable time period. So just keep that in mind. But for a kind of mid-sized WooCommerce site with say 1,000 products, that's going to have maybe a couple of thousand pages, this crawl delay is fine. But the crawl delay slows down crawlers so they're not just chewing up all your CPU juice and resources. I think that makes sense. So you can move this up and down. Crawl delay 1 would even, be good, considering we see crawlers hitting the site multiple times per second. So that makes sense. I think that's self-explanatory. So let's talk about login pages. So we don't want crawlers crawling login pages, and this can happen in scenarios where you have hidden content or where crawlers are being redirected to logon pages. So what this does is just stops crawlers hitting logon pages. So the backend WP admin, the WP login.php, and then the my account page. So there's no reason the crawler should be hitting any of those, including the my account page. And this should be no indexed as well, but that just stops the crawler hitting those pages that it shouldn't be. Pretty straightforward. Search pages, we don't want crawlers hitting search pages, so WordPress can be searched in 2 different ways with this search query string and also this /search/whatever. So we don't want searches being indexed, and this is actually a vector for negative SEO. So if your search pages are indexable, someone can hit your site with a negative SEO attack and it can cause problems. So by disallowing the search pages, we kind of protect from negative SEO attacks as well, and these pages just shouldn't be crawled anyway. The next one, so on some sites or some themes, the add to cart and add to wish list requests, the crawler will hit them. So it'll hit the query string, add to cart, add to wish list. So what this ends up happening is that multiple things are being added to the cart and added to the wish list per second. So if you have 3 to 5 crawlers per second hitting the site, that's 3 to 5 add to carts per second or add to wish list. And in this example for this customer, this was the problem. There was some aggressive crawlers hitting the add to cart link, and it was actually a targeted attack. We actually had this blocked in Cloudflare, but the rule wasn't quite right. So it was bypassing the rule and it was crawling those add to cart and add to wish list links. So that again mimics having 5 people per second on the site adding things to the cart, which is quite a lot for a low to mid-size WooCommerce site. So that just stops that happening. And you'll also see in Google Search Console some of these things. If the theme is pushing links to these query strings, then you'll see this as a problem in Google Search Console as well. So this is actually good for SEO and good for speed too. Here, this one's kind of an open one. So a lot of WooCommerce sites have a search filter. Here's just a couple of common ones: order by and currency. Again, we typically don't want search filters crawled, but just be mindful that some sites have built their site structure around using search filters instead of proper pages. So if you do block search filters, that may be an issue for your site structure. Just keep that in mind. But generally speaking, we don't want search filters being crawled. So yours might be filter by or something like that. So just keep that in mind. So edit it as needed. This one, we don't want to crawl WordPress feed URLs. So that's a simple one. So we block that. If you're using RSS feeds for things, that may be a problem. So just keep that in mind. This is a common one. cPanel and Plesk Smart Update System creates test sites, and in some edge case scenarios, they may be crawled if they have a method or a plugin that is pushing indexation of pages. So that's just a simple one if you're Plesk or cPanel. This one we add in because we blocked WP admin here, and we want this Ajax call to be accessible because it does impact particularly variations and some things like that. So there are some edge cases where this is important. We want a sitemap URL, so we always want to link to the sitemap in the robots file. So change that out to your sitemap link. You'll see it's yourdomain.com right now. And then lastly, we want to block aggressive SEO tools. So Ahrefs and SEMrush are 2 very popular SEO tools. So in this case, we've blocked them both here. So that'll stop them crawling the site. There's also a secondary benefit, not just a performance benefit, but it will stop these tools from releasing SEO information or sharing SEO information about your site as well. So there's a little bit of SEO benefit there too. I've also linked to this. This is a file that has a lot of, you can basically fatten this section out. These are basically bad bots or bad crawlers. So if you want to have the full list and give your site a little bit more protection, I've linked directly to those here. So you can just basically copy and paste that. So there's a lot in there, and you might just want to check that you're not using any of those tools, because some of them are genuine tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush. And just go down, copy and paste it to the bottom of your robots file, and you'll be good to go. But these are common kind of scrapers and crawlers and things that can be a bit malicious. So, we just want to block those by default. So we just link to that rather than fattening that page out a bit. And some of these ones, like this pedal bot, can particularly be aggressive. So that can be useful as well. And again, improving the performance of your site. So that's pretty much it. You can use this for other types of sites as well. So it's not just WooCommerce related, but this is our template for WooCommerce. If you want SEO help with your site or site speed help, head to our website. We have some tools there. The WP admin page. We have under our website, if you go to wpspeedfix.com, under more free stuff, we've got 4 free tools: free SEO audit, free core web vitals report, free site speed test, and website valuation tool. The first 3 don't require an opt-in, so you can use those. They take 60 to 90 seconds to run, no opt-in required, so check those out. If you want help with your site or help with your SEO, submit a free audit on our homepage, and one of our team will have a look at your site and come back to you within a day or so. And if you have any questions, just post in the comments below. Cheers.